Good day, everyone. This is Financial Fitness Fridays. This is speaker and coach honey Shantay Adams, and I am live here on Facebook. And what's up, IG? How you all doing on this Friday? On this beautiful Friday. This is the Friday before the festivities of next week, the holidays of next week, Christmas time, and so I'm excited about that. I know many of you are probably making your travel arrangements or actually maybe finalizing or preparing a pack. Some of you all are get a chance to take vacations. And so blessings to all of you all and happy holidays to everyone. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you. So today, this Friday, is going to be a blend. There's a couple announcements I want to say, so let me kind of start there in the beginning. So you see, I got my notes here. I'm such a note taker. For those of you who don't know me like that, I am a note taker. I'm a note, and some people like to record things and listen to it audibly. That is not me. I'll record some things and listen back, but I like to take notes because I'm a firm believer what you write down goes through you. Sometimes when we hear things, we might not catch it all. So when you write it down, you like, okay, you go back and you dissect that, you chew on it, you marinate it, you soak in it. That's like me. That is me. I go back, sometimes I reread notes, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't catch that way. Or I heard it, but I'm writing down. So it's good. So anywho, you guys take notes. All you note takers, take notes out there. I'm gonna give you guys some nuggets to kind of piggyback off what I shared last week on the taxes and how to get tax write-offs and who benefits from tax write-off. Hey, Kimmy, how are you? Oh, I miss you too. I love you. How are you? I called you. I didn't hear back from you. It's funny because I talked about you recently too, FYI, in a good way. In a good way. I tell you, I'll call you and I tell you what I said because it's something you have done for me. So it was about me, but it involved you. You're like, what are you talking about? But I'll call you and I tell you, and then it's gonna be confirmation to you, but it's something you have always said to me. So enough said there. I won't go no further. But when I talk, you'll catch it all. You understand it. But love you too and miss you too. I pray all is well with you and the family and everybody's doing well. So we'll talk. I'll call you. But yes, so you taking notes, take notes. I'm gonna piggyback off some of the things I shared last week, and just to kind of clarify some things, just make sure everybody's on the same page. I'm glad you're good. He said I'm showing I'm showing blast like that. No, it was a good thing. No, it was all good. And actually, it was really about me, but it was something that you have always said that somebody else said. So it was like confirmation that what the Lord was giving you, you were spot on. So let me just say it that way. So now you probably still won't know what I'm talking about, but it's all good. When I call you, you're like, oh yeah. You remember that because it's something you have said to me on like 3, 4 occasions, maybe 5 or 6 or 7 occasions. But nonetheless, clearly the Lord is still speaking that now. So it's a confirming word. So just FYI. But I'll call you today sometime. I'm tight schedule, but I'll call you. He's having you, girly. Thank you. um, Anywho, so let's talk about the taxes real quick. Oh, before I get into taxes, I'm all distracted, thrown off the place, but in a good way. So tomorrow, so before I get into the taxes and the tax strategy, I know and provide clarity there. So let's just talk about a couple announcements tonight. So tonight, I'm going to be in this place with Dr. Apostle Alicia. I'm so excited to be on there to talk to you all. That's all we about finances, coaching. I don't know what the Lord gonna do in that conversation, but I'm for it. It's gonna be tonight, so make sure you guys tune in. That's tonight at 8 p.m. East Coast time. It's gonna be here on Facebook. So I think it's on Facebook and on social media platform, maybe YouTube. But it's 8 o'clock East Coast time. So if you are Central, it's gonna be at 7, and if you are, Mountain like me, it's gonna be 6, and then for Pacific, it's gonna be 5 o'clock. So that's tonight. That's one announcement. Second announcement before I get started, because I want to get into the tax stuff, and then talk to you about some other things as well. But the second announcement is tomorrow. This is a big one. Tomorrow. Let me ask you all a question. Let me just say this. How many of you all know that the government is giving away money for kids to go to school? Put in the chat. Put in the chat. If you watch the replay, just put in, let me know in the comments. Did you all know that? Do you know the fine print of that? Do you know how that impacts you? Do you know how that impacts your household? You got to pay taxes on that. Do you know any of this information? I need some information regarding the tax write off. Send me a reminder. I'm doing it right now. We're doing it now. I'm about to go over some of the tax stuff right now. But so say don't leave, Kimmy. So, but the kids. So I'm all about making sure the kids are set up, make sure the kids are good. And so if you are one who want to know what I'm talking about, or you have not done your own research and don't know the fine print, then I would advise you to make sure you are reaching out to me. They say, hey Shantay, where is the information being held? Because I'm hosting an event and we are hosting one tomorrow at 12 p.m. East Coast time. So 12 p.m. East Coast time, DM me if you want to go. If you want to be in that space. I'm a huge component for those being empowered and getting educated and getting knowledge. That's going to be something I'm going to talk about today. So if you are on this call, on the Zoom, or Zoom, I'm always on Zoom. I'm always zooming and booming. If you are watching me live or a replay, then I need to make sure you are one that likes to get educated. Because many of us do not know what's out there. I'm not saying I know everything. I don't. I'll be the first one to tell you. But I'm willing to learn. I have such a humble heart that I'm willing to learn. I don't know it all, and I will never know it all. But I'm willing to get in the environment. And I always say to people, you're going to hear me say this all the time. It sounds like a broken record. But I know the power of that. Get into an environment, get into a space. It shifts you. It changes your mindset, your identity. It gives clarity. It helps you understand things better. It's just worth the time and worth the investment. And this right here, it doesn't cost you anything but your time. That's tomorrow East Coast time at 12 o'clock p.m. And then I'm hosting one that I'm speaking at. If you can't make the 12 o'clock, maybe you already have pre-engagements or arrangements that you already kind of committed to. But you say, but you know what, Shantay, my evening is clear. Okay, then come to the one at 5 p.m. Eastern time that I will be hosting and speaking. And you can get those information that way. And how do you set your children for a lifetime? You know, it's a gift of a lifetime. It's the holiday season. I mentioned that before. That we have opportunity to do something incredible in our children's life. And what better way to make sure we are getting the information that's going to bless them or bless the next generation. So I'm all for that. I'll come back on the back end if I remember to announce that again. But if you want to go to any of those events, 12 o'clock tomorrow or 5 o'clock tomorrow, East Coast time, DM me, message me, and say, hey, Shantay, can you send me the information for what you were just talking about? And I will do just that. And then make sure you and I talk and follow up with each other, okay? Because you're going to have questions. The information is that valuable. You're going to have questions for me. I know that. With that being said, let's get into the taxes. All right. So I mentioned last week. So just to piggyback off last week, if some of you all were not here or did not hear it, I talked a little bit about a trust, right? So I'm starting there because I know that was like one of the biggest things that I believe people kind of took away about the trust and what needs to be in a trust and why does a trust benefit you? So having a trust is good when you want to protect your asset. I'm always in the place of protection. You guys will hear me emphasize that more than you probably can count. I talk about protection a lot. Protecting your asset. And why is it who needs a trust, right? Anyone who has a property. If you have property management, you need to put that in a trust. It needs to be in a trust because it protects you if someone wants to come after you legally. You don't want the trust in your name. You don't want the trust in your name. You say, well, why is that, Shantay? Because if the trust is in your name, then they're going to come after you and what's in that trust. But if the trust is in something else, everything is in that trust name. And it's protected by the trust. So it's protecting you. It's a way to protect you. A lot of these people who are multimillionaires, billionaires, they do all this. This is nothing new. So, but for some of us working class, middle class, and some of us who do not know this, then we need to understand that the trust is very valuable and very important. And sometimes our tax professionals may not necessarily give us that tax strategy or tell us to do that. Sometimes that come by being learning like this, being in an environment where they teach you these things of that nature. So you want to have it in a protected vehicle, your asset. But let's talk about what's in that trust, for example. Like a house I mentioned. So if you have a house, that needs to be in a trust. If you have property, that needs to be in a trust. If you have life insurance, that needs to be in a trust, especially if it's collecting cash value. That needs to be in a trust. So things of that nature. If you have brokerages, that needs to be in a trust. If you have any of your assets, anything that you have, liquid or non-liquid, you want to start putting those things in a trust. That is super important to do so. I'm going to move on because I only got so much time. So let's talk about the write-offs real quick. That's what Kimmy was just asking about, the tax write-off. I heard about that this morning. What did you hear about, Kimmy? Put in the chat. What you heard this morning? because I didn't catch it when you wrote it. So when you wrote that statement, I didn't see it, so I don't even know what it's about. But put it in the chat. Let me know what you heard this morning. But let's go back to the tax write-off. So we know that most people who have businesses, the IRS is designed to give tax breaks for those who have businesses. If you are a W-2 employee, you are paying the bulk of the taxes. You are. You're paying most of the taxes. And in the sidebar, did some of you all know that those who get government contracts, those contracts come from taxpayers, and those who are paying the bulk of the taxes are the ones probably giving those like Elon Musk, the billions that he's got, because he get a lot of his money from governmental contracts, and government contracts come from taxpayers. Not saying now all of us pay taxes, so you got to pay taxes on everything that you make. But however, those who have businesses get more tax breaks and tax cuts than those who work a regular job. So that's why it's important to be in a business that gives you, have a business. It really is. And if you just do one business per year, you get to write taxes off. Even if you're not selling and making a profit the whole year. If you're making a profit that 1 year, you get to write off all your taxes. You can write off your phone bill. You can start writing off your groceries. A lot of different things you can start writing off. It says, if I put my home in a trust for my nieces and nephew, will they be responsible for the taxes when I transition? So, I can't see the rest of it. Let's see. And grant for a child who wants to attend college. So I put my home in a trust. So you put your home in a trust for your nieces and nephews. So the trust is going to be for whoever. Like I have a client, it's going to be for them. So, but it's not going to be in their name. Well, when I transition, will they be responsible for the taxes when I transition? So anything that you didn't pay taxes on, let me just say this, and I'm not a tax. I may have to put a disclaimer out there. I'm not a tax professional. I'm not trying to be a tax professional. That's not my lane. I'm only giving you all nuggets. So I ain't gonna go too deep because that's not my lane. Even though I can know some things, it's not my lane. So I'm not a tax professional. I mean, just say that because I don't want nobody thinking I'm the tax person. I'm not the tax lady. I know a thing or two because I've been taught a thing or two. But I'm only just giving you all that nugget because I want to give you guys some things. But in terms of taxes, whatever you don't pay taxes on, you have to pay taxes on. So let's say you get pre-tax and then it's taxed. So let me just give this nugget out, and I'm going to get off that. And Kimmy, you're not going to talk offline. As far as taxes, let's say, for example, you have in your trust, you have a traditional IRA, and you did not, you rolled it over into a trust, but you didn't pay the taxes on the gains. Because remember, a traditional IRA or 401k, which let's just say an IRA just for the sake of argument, you know that you didn't pay that tax on it because it's in a tax deferred account. So that means you're not going to pay taxes on that money until you pull out that money. Then the IRS will say, oh, you owe us some money here. You got to pay the taxes. But if you roll it over and you put it into another account like another IRA, and the IRA happens to be in a trust, you're not paying the taxes on that yet until that money is ready to come out. So anytime you pull out that money, now you owe the taxes. And then you have to claim. And so somebody asked me, or I gotten a question asking me, well, Shantay, do I have to pay taxes, federal taxes on that when I file my taxes that year or, for that year if I roll over? The answer is no, because it went from one IRA type of vehicle to another type of vehicle. The other vehicle may be a more protected vehicle and it grows with interest and all that. But you're not paying taxes on that money that's in this new vehicle. Does that make sense? So if it went from this vehicle to this vehicle, you're not paying taxes on that. You pay tax when you pull it out. Now, if you put it in, if you had a Roth IRA, then you already paid the taxes because a Roth IRA is in a tax exempt. So therefore, you're paying your taxes in the beginning. So if you roll over to anything else, there's no taxes on there because you already paid the taxes. So I'm gonna say that. And if anybody have questions, that's when you need to reach out to me so I can give you some more clarity. Okay, great question, Kimmy, great question. And grant for child who wants to go to college. So anytime you want to pull the money out, that's when you pay tax, depending on what type of money is being put in the trust. So I don't know. I just gave the Roth and the traditional IRA as an example. I don't know if that provides clarity. Kimmy, you and I will talk about it later to get more clarity. And so it says you control when you pay taxes when you are a business owner. So when you're a business owner, you control when you pay your taxes better than someone who's W-2 because they pay your taxes right then. You ain't got no choice but to pay your taxes right when you get paid. A business owner can shift income and expenses between years. Self-improvement is when you get tax deductions. So, like for example, I went to Cabo. Guess what? It's a tax write-off for me. Even though it was for fun and pleasure, my feet was in the sand, my toes between the sand, and I got to have fun and nightlife, to enjoy myself, right? But it's a tax write-off for me. You say, well, Shantay, how can you write off a tax write-off going on a vacation? Well, because you had a meeting. Anytime you have one meeting, it becomes a tax write-off. The plane tickets become a tax write-off. It was hotels stay, all that becomes a tax write-off. The whole thing becomes a tax write-off. So you have to know. So let me go. Let's dive a little deeper. So the tax code is written to reward business owners. Now you may not like that. Some people may like it. Some people may not. But the tax code is designed to reward those who have businesses. And you say, well, why is that, Shantay? Because they create job creations. For one, job creation, investors, and business owners. These are three people. Job creators, investors, and business owners get the biggest tax breaks. These three types of people. And so some people who have businesses may not get all the tax benefits they can possibly get. They may not even know all the tax breaks they can possibly get. And then in some businesses, you get more tax break. Like what I do, the type of business I do, just a sidebar, I probably get more tax break than somebody out there who has a hair salon. In fact, I know I get more tax break. I'm almost certain the person who owns a hair salon is paying more taxes than I am. And I say that she's not, and okay, wait a minute. For clarity, okay, hold on, Kim, let me see. For clarity, my taxes and insurance are included in my mortgage. Right. But that should go on, but you can put that mortgage, you can put your house in the trust. But we'll talk, Kim, we'll talk. Because I kind of get what you're asking me, but I'm not 100% certain. But all that will be in there too. And because that's all part of your house. So that will all go together. And I'm not saying I do trust, by the way. That's another thing that I don't do trust. I refer out. Attorneys do trust. Just go back to trust for a sec. Attorneys do trust. I'm not an attorney, although I used to want to go to law school. And I do have a profound respect for those who are attorneys. I like law and order. To this day, I still like law and order. Not only the show, but I like law and order in general. So I have I used to want to be an attorney for all my childhood until I got into my high school years. Then I wanted to go into performing arts, and I wanted to dance and all that, creative arts. And I still like creative arts, but I do have a profound respect for lawyers, attorneys. So attorneys do trust. That's not my lane. That's nothing not my lane. But however, and if you all want to know how much a trust costs, I'll tell you that really quickly. A trust is, it will cost you on the low side about a couple grand. On the low side. On the high side, depending on how much assets you have and what you're putting in the trust and what you're doing, it's going to be on upwards of maybe $5,000. You say, well, why is there a difference between $2,000 and $5,000? And it's all about experience. So an attorney who's maybe not as experienced, is more of a seasoned vet. The vet going to charge you a little bit more because he or she can charge you that much because they've been around. Where someone who's kind of new to doing trust, or maybe a new attorney that maybe they're starting up, they're building up their clientele, things of that nature, then they may give you on the low side. Just so you guys know, that may be the reason. That's pretty much the reason why someone will charge $2,000 and someone may charge $5,000. So it's anywhere between that amount, maybe $3,000, $3,500. So maybe somewhere in the middle. But that's how much a trust will cost you. So anybody wonder how much it would cost me to put my asset in a trust? Low side $2,000, on the high side, if not higher, $5,000 for a trust. Okay, we will speak later. Okay, right on, Kimmy. So like I said, well, what I do, type of business I do, I can pay lower in taxes than someone who does like a hair salon, someone out there who may be who's another one, a barber, who's another one, business out there people have, someone who has, okay, and this is no knock to anybody, not anyone who's doing nails and eyelashes and maybe someone who's a designer, maybe they go out there and they help people, clothing or things of that nature. They probably pay more in taxes than I do. You say, well, how do you figure that, Shantay? It's because I can write off more because I host a lot of events and I host a lot of meetings and conferences. And so because of that, those events, those are meetings. These are write-offs. These are things I can write off. If I bring food there, then all my groceries are write-off. So these are now write-offs that you can just write And so all your expenses, and then on top of that, you can use your losses and depreciation to offset income. So whereas you a W-2 person, you have to, you don't have no choice. Even if you paying your phone bill, cable bill, you paying all these things, you paying all these expenses, groceries going out there, you paying for this insurance, this thing, that thing. You got to just pay the tax on it. Whereas I can write that stuff off. Gas, write that off. Dang, I got groceries. Yep, I had people over. I had a meeting. Dang, I got write off for me. Ain't no dang, it's a good thing. I can write that off. Those are all tax write offs for me. Every last thing to offset my income, to offset it. And so then it says another, and I'm not going. I said this the last time, and I probably didn't explain it, so I'm going to take time to explain it for a hot second. I mentioned, I think I mentioned the last time about entertainment business. Entertainment business, you get to write that off. You get to write more of that off. And you say, well, what does that mean, Shantay, entertainment business? Like I mentioned to you all, I went to Cabo. It became a business trip. It was mostly a pleasure trip, but it's a business trip because I had one meeting. So that's like entertainment. Anytime you can take people out, if you have dinner, if I go out for lunch, if I go meet a client and I go out for lunch, of course, you can write that off. Many of us know that. That's kind of common knowledge. You get to write that off. But let's say if I'm using my vehicle on that, then you get a percentage of your vehicle, you get to write that off as a tax deduction. So if you have a vehicle, you have two vehicles, then the first one, you can write off 100% of that as a tax deduction. If it's using for business, and you have to prove that, of course. But like for me, it's be 100% business. So me having a vehicle, I can, and I don't have one at this time, one right now. One I will have, and I get to write off almost 80% of that. Now, up to 80% of that. Not saying you won't get 80%, but you can write up to 80% of that can be a tax deduction. So it's stuff like that many of us do not know. And one distinction I do want to make, and I'm gonna come in this one. I'm just gonna get in and get out. LLC, like I have an LLC, Fresh New Consulting LLC. That's the name of the business for me, and that LLC protects your. It's for protection of your business. That's what the LLC for. But when you get your business elevated and you start to scale your business and you're making a higher income, $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, millions of dollars, $5 million, $10 million, and so forth and so forth. But particularly when you start making that $50,000 mark and higher, once you get to that benchmark, you want to move your business over to an S corp. So that means you want to move your LLC over into an S corp business, and then in that, once you move into that lane, you get to have more tax write-offs. You even get more tax write-off in that point, and then you get to move your taxes over. Pay your taxes differently, and then you can pay yourself. So it's really, 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 really good to know these things and how you can save on your taxes and what really helps a business owner and entrepreneur to pay less in tax and know these write-offs. So these write-offs are so key. And then some of you all may know this already about if you have a home office, you can write off so many square foot of that as well. But you have to, know the measurements and all that. So sometimes when you sit down with your tax preparer, those who, your CPAs, your accountants, those who are helping you file your taxes, you want to make sure they know these and they are giving this to you, because sometimes they don't tell you this. You have to tell them. And so it's important that we get educated, which is what I want to circle back around to as I'm wrapping this up, is that we get into their environments. We work on not only self-improvement environments, but we get in those environments where we're educated. Let me tell you something, y'all. And I might have said this on here before, but if I did not, I'm going to say it again today. That life changed for me before the money changed, before all that started changing, before opportunities started coming my way more and greater, is when I took the time to get into an environment that changed everything for me. Everything for me. And I'm a big component of that. I am a product of that. What I mean by saying I'm a product of that, meaning that a lot of things was birthed out of me. Things came forth. Open doors came when I was willing to learn things. When I was willing to pay and get out of my comfort zone, go get on a plane, get a plane ticket, and go to a different location and learn something that I did not know before. And get around people whose thinking is higher than mine. I say that, I'm going to keep on saying until I'm blue in the face. And because I know it changes people's life. It changes your mindset. Sometimes you get into an environment. I met someone, I think, is it Ozuma? Are you on here? I see you watching. I don't know if he's on here. But I see you say you was watching. But however, I was talking to him yesterday, and we met, and he was saying to me that I love the meeting. Love you. I love you too. I'll speak to you. Okay, I'll call you later. And he said, Shantay, he said, in some of these spaces I went into, he said I was the only black person in there. Now I'm not trying to make this a race thing. I'm really not. I'm really not, because and it wasn't like it was just a race thing. He was saying I wasn't seeing that many women, not even black women, white women. It was not. It was primarily white men who were in those spaces. And when you get into that place of self-improvement, you're working on yourself, you're building yourself, you're in that growth mindset. Like, that's the biggest thing for me. Someone asked me, Shantay, what's the biggest thing you're learning in entrepreneurship and business this year? And I would say growth. I believe I have a growth mindset, intentional growth, want to be better. And I'm a big advocate for those who want to grow and be better. That's just me. I always want to be better than who I was yesterday. That is like an intentional goal for me daily. That means something to me, because I want to be better than who I was. I want to speak better. I want to show up better. I want to present myself better. I want to move differently. You know, how can I improve? What do I need to improve? What do I need to make adjustments in? What do I need to eliminate? That's what we had a call about today. We had a meeting today. What do we need to eliminate to get to the next level? What's holding us back? What habits are not breaking? What habits we have created that are not doing us any well, not serving us anything? It's not profiting us. Not only is it not profiting us, is it bringing God glory? Let's hello somebody. Is it bringing him glory? And so that right there is like intentional for me, like intentionally growth. So I'm an advocate. Hear me say, I'm an advocate for those to get in those rooms, get in those small places, working on yourself, investing in yourself. The best investment you can make is in yourself. Outside of God, he's number one always. Let me just clarify that, just for the, clarify that. Outside of God, investing in who he is. But outside of that, the best investment is yourself. Improving yourself, working on yourself, getting to those places, spending money that you may not have, but say, you know what, I'm going to sacrifice it because it's going to pay off dividends for me later. It's going to compound later. It's called compound growth. Not just compound your assets, your money. Yes, you should do those things. We need to do those things. I'm going to get maybe this a little later. But we need to be intentional about growing, developing, being better, becoming better, working on ourselves, advancing ourselves. It takes that. That's needed. And it's only going to serve us well when we do it. So on that note, I had to wrap it up, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the taxes and why that benefits for those who have different things. It is better to have those who have a business. You get better tax write-off. So I always tell folks, hey, if you ever want to start a business, make sure you know what kind of business you're starting, because you get more tax write-offs. And then what type of business you're doing. Okay. My son's calling me, oldest son. But however, do that. Get in those rooms, you guys. Like, we have an event. We have an event on next in January. I empower you. You say, Shantay, what is that about? Improving yourself, self-improvement. It's a new year. Y'all. Let's get ourselves in that place that we need to be to grow and to have an exceptional, amazing year of promotions in 2026. But before then, because it's a year still not over, okay, we can still work on ourselves this year. And if you are one who want to come to that event tomorrow, where you get to learn about the kids, because I'm telling you, the space is limited. I'm hoping that it would be so full that it won't be enough room for everybody to get on there. That means everybody want to come help their children. So that's you. And now you want to help your children, but you want to learn what they're giving out for free, what they're helping the children with. How is that going to impact you? You got to be taxing on that money. Come and learn. Come and get into that environment. It's on Zoom. If you want to go, what I say? Send me a message. DM me. Message me. Put in the comments. I will send you the information. You better believe it. And then we got to make sure we follow up, because you're going to have questions. And if you can't make the one at 12 o'clock, then I'm having one at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And I like to see you there. Come learn and let's grow together. Dream together, grow together, so the vision can come forth. All right, you guys. Have a great rest of your Friday. Happy holidays once again. Thank you all for those who are watched and those who watched the replay. My final thought I would say is, and I can't emphasize this enough, protect and compound your money. Protect and compound your money. Don't just make straight money. That's good to make straight money, but grow that money. Grow the money. The money is meant to grow. If you're only making it, you're limiting and you're stunning your own growth. We have to grow it. We have to grow it. We have to grow it. Invest it, invest it, invest it. Protect it, protect it, protect it. All right, that's that is my message for today on this Financial Fitness Friday. This is speaker and coach Honey Shantay Adams, and you know we accomplish more and we go further with what? Honey, then vinegar. As I like to say, eat the honey and release the honey. All right, you guys have a great, blessed Friday. Be safe and enjoy your weekend.